So first question to ask, and I know some of you have kind of been in this conversation. I think especially Jill, I think, had this one on this conversation. Has everyone heard about the new software packages or seen them advertised? Feel free to kind of wave your hand or say yes or no, because I'm really interested to see how our kind of communications work. So we've seen something about new packages. So just to cover what that means, in May this year, we changed the way that we price our software for clubs and fisheries. For anyone that's unaware of either the price that your own club is on, or what, if you're a club, what the fisheries were getting charged. As angling clubs, the most transparent way that we decided, and this is before my time, but the way the business was priced was on a per member basis. So you paid the software fee per year was £1.80 per member with a 20% discount if you're an angling trust club. So that went down to £1.44 per member per year. So that was a decision made on, this is really easy to understand. If you go to a club that's got 200 members, 200 times £1.44, it's quite a straightforward figure. Fisheries and syndicates like the carp fisheries were charged on a kind of package basis. So they, depending on what they were and how big they were, they paid £50 a month, £100 a month. So we had two kind of very disparate pricing models, which was hard for us to reconcile. And as amazing as this might sound, some people didn't know if they were a club or a fishery. Because you stray the borders of whether you're a business fishery or a volunteer club, or does club just mean river, or things like that. So it's very hard for us, and we had to duplicate all of the pricing, duplicate all of the packages. And also, as time went on, we kept adding features, and we kept adding new things, and we kept adding to the different packages. And it became apparent that very large clubs are benefiting from some of these new features. The smaller clubs weren't using them at all because they're not useful in small clubs, because you don't need all of these kind of advanced tools. But also, and I kind of covered this with Mark before we started, we've got very small clubs who are paying very little, getting all of the functionality of a very large club paying us thousands of pounds, which in its way didn't seem to be the fairest model, although it is fair in a per member basis. It didn't seem entirely right that you've got a very large club paying thousands of pounds a year to get all the same functionality as a small club paying very little. So for those various reasons, we decided to repackage so that everybody, whether it's a club, fishery, syndicate, fits into one of 4 packages. So I will share the screen, so we've got a kind of reference point to go against. If you'll let me do so. So everybody now, and this is new customers. So when we demonstrate to new clients now, they go through a light, a plus, an advanced, or an unlimited package. And these are based on a combination of factors, some of which are how large you are in terms of numbers and users, and some of them is based on the features that you would like to have. Everyone that's in this room now predates this packaging, and what you were before was just Clubmate is now known as Legacy. So everyone that's on the per member pricing as you've always paid is now called Legacy. And behind the scenes, you can't really see this yourself in your own software, but I can. You are labeled as Legacy software. Now, the reality of the new packages is that as we move forward, and this has been true since May this year, any of the new features we add to the software will go into these new packages only, and they won't be added to Legacy. Just to clarify, that doesn't mean we won't fix Legacy. That doesn't mean we won't support Legacy. You will get the same support you've ever had. If anything goes wrong, we'll fix it the same way we ever did. And you don't get treated any differently from a kind of support point of view. You're not behind in a queue from anyone that's on a new package. But new features that do new things will get put into the category that we think it fits into the best, depending on whether it fits the size or the number of members or the amount that's paid for that package. Everyone that's on this call that's a Legacy client is free to stay on their Legacy package. So you can stay on your Legacy pricing, but in the awareness that you will keep what you've got. You won't get new features, and some of the new features are very beneficial for clubs because we've developed some great new features that benefit clubs and fisheries. Has anyone got any questions on that part of it? So I'd like to think it's pretty kind of straightforward from that point of view. What we've got here is light plus advanced and unlimited, and I'll cut the kind of corners on this and make this a bit more straightforward. Unlimited is a purely size-based move. So unlimited is for clients larger than 1,000 members with more than 25 users who sell more than 400 tickets a month. So we're talking very large clubs. This is purely size based. They don't really get many more features over advanced. They tend to get more time, so they get a dedicated person to handle any issues purely because they have more people. They've got more members, things go wrong more. We offer one-to-one support, a lot more kind of, they get unlimited custom fields, things like that. So there's very little feature-wise that puts people in unlimited other than size. And this is roughly slightly higher than they would have paid in their maximum package in a legacy package. Lite is a very basic membership payments platform. It doesn't have bailiff access. It doesn't have message automations. It doesn't have an awful lot of the features that make a club a club. So if you had a very small lake, and I often say on a demo, this is for someone who owns a lake and wants his mates to pay for it. That's not really a club. It's some guy that owns a pond and want to take some payments. So the two kind of real packages are Plus and Advanced. And these are £550 a year for Plus, which I would call normal average angling club in the 300 category, which is our kind of average size of an angling club, 350. And Advanced, which is £1,100 per year, which is for anyone over 500 members and also features more premium features that aren't essential to run an angling club, but might be very beneficial and could actually save you some time and money. So what we will do today is, one, cover why you would be in each package, and two, cover some of the features we are talking about that we've added already or are coming in very soon that might make you want to transfer from either your legacy package to a new one or from Plus to Advanced. So if we have a quick look through for a start, you will all have a lot of features already that you're familiar with. But if we look at Plus, it features most of the usual angling club stuff like bailiff access, day tickets, peg booking, guest tickets, match bookings, waiting list management, email and push notifications, custom content, so you can add custom tiles to your member area, workflow automation. So that's actually in the system, you'd know it currently as message automation. So you can trigger things by, if, for example, someone's birthday. So on a birthday, you can automatically email a happy birthday or things like that. And tackle shop promotions, so that we put in maps and Google Maps and directions to your local tackle shops. If we look at what's advertised in Advanced, that would be if you go over 500 members, but you're under 1,000. And if you go over 10 users, which is admin users, so that's owners, staff, managers, anything, bailiffs, anything like that, 500 to 1,000 members, up to 25 admin users, up to 400 tickets a month. So by tickets, it's not member tickets, it's non-member tickets. So that's day tickets, non-member day tickets per month. Now that involves membership categories, and I'm going to demonstrate some of this as once we've been through this list. I'll show you what some of these are in the software. Membership categories. Now that is basically if you've got 50 different types of membership plan, you can put them into days only, nights only, or direct debit and full payment, so people can filter to make it easier to find their membership. More custom fields on your application form, so where you've got your name, email address, telephone number, you can add vehicle reg 2, vehicle reg 8, up to 8 questions on there. Angler bans, so that you can block people from your account. Age restrictions, which is a very new feature, so that you can restrict someone so that if they've got the wrong date of birth, they can't buy a membership plan. Awards system, this is very good for coaching awards, catch of the month, things like that. Various others, automatic checkout. So if you pay this for check-in members, then it will automatically check them out at the end of the day. This is a very early display of some of the features that are going into the Advanced package, but we do have a few more to tell you about today. One of the ones, and I'll just switch to my demo club. Don't know if some of you have seen this, but this is the club I used to demonstrate with. One of the newest features, which isn't actually out yet, and you'll have all probably asked about this one at some point, is restrictions on membership plans. So that rather than having to, if you've got a limit on how many memberships you've got at your club, you've had to manually take them off sale. You had to monitor the dashboard, and once you got to so many members, you had to turn the plans off and all these kind of things. There is now a physical restriction on the membership plan now that we've hit the limit. This has got a limit of 2 because it's a demo club. But once you've hit the limit of how many members you can have, it will restrict it and say we're not currently accepting memberships of this type, which makes it a lot easier. This is even better for the fishery businesses, the people who are paid to do this, because obviously when they go home at the weekend, they don't want to be staring at the Clubmate dashboard to stop memberships selling. Age restricted features, as I mentioned earlier. If I click on junior membership, because I'm on Rob's adult account, I can't buy this membership because my date of birth is real. It tells me I can't buy this because I don't meet the age restrictions. Membership categories is here, so you can see I've got days only carp membership, days only membership. So when I click that, it filters out to the specific membership groups. Again, just covering on that age restriction one, if you do then want to add a child, I can't buy it on my account because I'm too old, but I can then add a child's account to my profile with the right date of birth, which points people to the correct way of buying a child's membership, rather than, and again, some of you will have experienced this historically. I know, Jill, you've had quite a bit of this in the past, but an adult who's got a junior profile on their own account because they thought the right thing to do was to buy their own and then buy a kid's one on their own account. So you ended up with an 85-year-old who's got a junior membership. Whereas this will point them, and they have no other choice, in the right direction to actually add a child to their account as a linked member. A couple of the other things which I would say are kind of big heavy hitters in the kind of new development space: digital offline membership cards. Now, we've all kind of been in the situation with Clubmate in certain areas of the country. What do I do if I've got no signal? And until now, we've had no answer for you, because it's a cloud-based platform that you can't do anything with if there's no signal. And a lot of the clubs, especially some of the ones in this call, spend a fortune on ID cards, physical credit card ID cards. Certainly in the next few weeks, but definitely before the end of this year, we will have digital offline membership, so that your members with no signal at all will have a digital shield, like you would have in your Google Wallet, with their profile picture, their membership, how, you know, its expiry dates and all the rest of it, so that they can prove their membership using the app with or without a signal. Which, one, solves all the issues with signal, internet signal, and two, if you've got the appetite at your club, and I thoroughly encourage it coming from a club that is purely digital and hasn't had a physical card in years, you don't have to spend £5 on each ID card. Jill?
Will that apply to the bailiffs as well? Because that's something I've been asked. They would like something rather
bailiff
than
proof.
Yeah.
So there's two ways around this. One is something I've asked for, Jill, and one is something you could do anyway. If you make a bailiff membership plan, you can add it to all your bailiffs and they can show a plan that says I am a bailiff. But given that we've now got the technology to have a digital offline card, I have asked for an automatic card, essentially. I don't think that will be quite as immediate, but essentially if you change the staff level to bailiff, it automatically gives them an offline bailiff card kind of thing. But temporarily, which I've been doing in testing, you just make a free membership plan called bailiff and apply it to all of your bailiffs, so they can show a membership says I'm a bailiff. But in the long term, I'm going to make that automatic, so the answer is technically yes. So people can prove that they are a bailiff. Andrew, go ahead.
Is that would that offline membership card automatically be there? Would they actually, the members have to apply for it?
No, it will be there for everyone that's on the right package. You know, as long as the club's on the correct package, everyone will automatically then have a digital version of their membership card. And regardless of internet signal, they'll just be able to show their digital membership card. The signal one is probably less of a problem. It sounds like the most obvious problem, but the biggest one is the amount of money people spend on ID cards. In many cases, people spend more on physical ID cards with us than the software. You know, the software is at the very maximum under £2,000 a year, and clubs spend 10,000 on ID cards. 10,000. You know, because they're £5 a card. If you can imagine 2,000 members at £5 a card, it's a lot of that will be a mindset thing, because people still like that physical bit of plastic. But as long as you get used to them, the world is changing to a digital platform. If you can use your Google Wallet to pay for things, and you know you've got a go outdoors card on your digital wallet and things like that, why not have your fishing membership there and not pay £5 a card? So that's going to be a very big driver. You know, we've been asked for years for an offline version of the app. We've been asked for years, can we make ID cards redundant? You know, get rid of the plastic that people lose, that get lost in the post or lost in the washing machine. We've already had clubs who have moved purely for that. They say, okay, ID cards are gone, not paying for them anymore. Initially, we'll lose money on that, you know, because we were giving it for free, where people are paying us for ID cards, where we get a bit of margin. But in the long term, it's a lot more reliable. One of the other things I didn't mention during the packages, actually, just reminded myself now, when it says 400 day tickets per month, previous to this, on the old per member pricing, people were then charged per day ticket sold. So you'd pay £1.44 per member each year, and any non-member day ticket was charged at 75p, which we billed quarterly. So every quarter, if you'd sold 100 day tickets, we'd charge you 100 times 75p. That's now included in your package. So you're in a package that's got 100 a month, 400 a month, whatever else. It provides us with more stable revenue because we're not sporadically billing you for however many you might have sold. It's a known quantity. And in some cases, we'll save money because you've got 400 included rather than this additional bill on a software bill that in some cases. And obviously, if it's £1.44 per member, there are sweet spots where it's not that expensive to upgrade. It's very similar to what you've already paid. So it's very inclusive. And for us, we're getting all of the money in a kind of known quantity once a year rather than these sporadic invoices throughout the year. Another feature we're just about to roll out, and I'm in testing with this at the moment, it's visible to me, but not to the member clubs, is two-way messaging in the app. So a lot of you will have emails from your members. They email your inbox, you email them back, but we now have two-way messaging, kind of like a WhatsApp style chat in the app, so that your members can initiate a message in the app. You can reply to them in the app, and you can reply to individual comments like you would on WhatsApp. You click on it, press reply to this message up here. And that's going to be more like a live chat support service for you and your members rather than having to look at your email inbox. It will flag up as a little notification in the app. You'll get a little dot in the app to say that you've got a new message. The member will get the same. From a club point of view, it will come from a central club contract. It won't come from, Jill, for example. It will come from Billericay Angling Club. So you can just sign it off with a name. We did think about whether it comes from the individual staff user or not, but the easiest option seemed to be it comes from the club. And if you want to sign your name on the bottom of it, you just add your name to the bottom of it. That's been a feature that's in high demand. We are going to have an offline bailiff search soon. So turning the conversation around from the member having a digital ID card, the bailiff is going to have access to a digital offline version of the database so that without a signal, they can still search your members' database. And there are a whole host of other changes that are going to be coming over the next kind of 6 months. There's a current development pipeline of, I think, 400 development ideas, all of which are variously useful, but they are all only going to be placed into new packages and mostly in advanced and unlimited. Plus is where essentially we're looking for normal angling club to start that will have mostly of the things you've got now. Anyone that wants advanced features is essentially going to want to pay an advanced price. So, for us, it is as a business, it is an upsell. It is so, you can run your club on Legacy as you are now. You can run your club on Plus. It will have all of the basic features of a club. But if you want the really premium features that make a club run to its best, advanced is where you want to be, or unlimited if you're that kind of size. So has anyone got any questions about the features we've spoken through there, some of the new upcoming features, or anything they've been asking for ages that they don't have yet?
I think it's still, for us, it's still annoying that the bailiffs are understaffed and that's all separate. So if I do emails, I have to do it all twice.
Jill, have I got good news for you?
Right.
I spoke about that one yesterday. We are, and we're not. It's not quite at final stages yet. We're going to be moving all of the staff members to the normal members list.
Oh, great! That would be fantastic.
You can filter by staff. So just like you would filter all your normal members by membership plan or whatever else, you'll just be able to filter staff. And that means you can message them all at the same time, or just the staff, or just all these kind of things.
That'll also help us with the limit of the memberships, because some of our staff have night tickets.
Your staff have got normal plans, haven't they?
Yes.
So we see a wide variance with this, and obviously one of the challenges of packaging software, you all do things differently. At my own club, for example, staff don't have any membership; they just get free membership. They just get complimentary membership of all types. And they're not counted in membership numbers. Like I've got some very limited syndicates, but it doesn't include the bailiffs. The bailiffs can have unlimited access to those syndicates. But that's my use case. Yours is very different, Jill, where you have to tick those people off your night limit. You've got to include those in your night limit.
Exactly.
We see clubs that charge their bailiffs full price, part price, half price, no price. So for us, it's very difficult to work out what works best for everyone. But we have got actually something that you'll be interested in, and a lot of you'll be interested in because you are the kind of guys that speak to us quite a lot. Did any of you use the submit an idea button?
Yes.
We had a submit an idea button on your dashboard where you could submit new ideas for the software. Well, we've kind of advanced that a little bit because essentially that gave you a little text box and it said submit an idea, and we waited for 10 people to say something that roughly sounded the same. So if we found 10 eventually that all kind of sounded the same, we'd perhaps consider it for development. We very shortly, and I'm talking about probably next week, there's a new version of that where you'll get the same kind of functionality, and we'll be putting it in the community, Jill, you know, so that the community guys get first dibs.
Yeah.
It's going to be kind of an up vote. So there'll be kind of suggested ideas, and let's say it's yours, you know, move the staff members into the members list. Everyone will be able to click on it and see that idea, and then they can vote on it, you know, like you would vote on Reddit or whatever, you know, platforms. So people will sit there and go, I like that idea, vote. I like that idea, vote. And the most popular voted ideas will be the ones that get developed first. And there's a current list of about 25 of them, which me and myself and Wine have worked through some of your historical requests and some of the things we think are going to benefit people. So there'll be 25 initial ideas to go out there. You can start voting on those probably as early as the next week. And you've got a button that says submit my own idea. And then if that's a good idea, we'll post that on the board and everyone can vote on that one as well. And that will be available to all admin users. So your owners, your staff, your bailiffs. It will be accessible to us. So, you know, my team can look at it and add ideas because we've obviously see a lot of things. You know, we see a lot of clubs and have ideas that could help all of them out. Some of the other things that are coming in the medium term. So obviously I've spoken about two-way chat messaging, spoken about digital offline cards. In the medium term, again, for the clubs that do still retain physical ID cards and take a lot of physical ID cards, we're going to be adding essentially a more self-service version of this where you can adjust your own template to decide what gets written on the card. You can approve or block people from card from being issued yourself in the app. So if the picture's not good enough, now obviously one we've dealt with for quite a few years is, you know, you don't like the profile picture because someone's put a duck or something. You know, we've seen all kinds of things on people's profiles. Now, there's obviously my team look at all the ID cards, but we can't look at 100,000 people a year to make sure the profile picture is exactly right. And some clubs have got a different idea of what's a bad profile picture than we have because we'd approve it and they'll say, why did you approve that? But we can only do so much. But there will be a queuing system where you at your own club can say, halt that ID card, I'm not sending it because it's got a tractor and the picture or whatever like that. So that's coming in very soon in the medium term. We are going to have parent tiles. So I mean by that, tiles within tiles. So obviously in your member area at the moment, you've got a selection of what we call tiles. Let me just hop back. So obviously these are tiles, and at the moment it opens up to a page. But very shortly, what we are going to have are parent tiles. So tiles that contain other tiles to allow you to kind of folder information. So you can have, instead of having a map for every single map on your venue, you can have a maps tile that is full of maps tiles. So you can have a maps tile that goes to other maps tiles. We are doing, again, in the medium term, don't expect me to bring this out next week, but we're going to have tiles visible by specific membership types and not just member only and non-member. So at the moment, obviously, these are all members or non-members. So if you're a member, you can see them. If you're not a member, you can't. We will have tiles that you can specifically see if you're a night member, for example, Jill.
Yeah.
That will also be applicable to staff. So you could have tile content geared just towards your staff. So your constitution, your rules, notes on your staff, uploads of internal documents. You could make a fully fledged coaching experience because you could have a member area that's only visible to juniors. So you could have a full junior experience. So essentially you could have a whole different experience for juniors, carp members, course members, fly members. So that it's all geared towards having like more flexibility in what people see. We are going to have a member rewards area. So I'm not quite sure how this will land, but I'm looking to replace this absolutely useless button down the bottom that no one's ever used. I bet none of you have ever pressed this. If you press this button, essentially it will say, hi, I'm a member of Billericay through Clubmate or something. And I don't think anyone's ever used it. But we're going to replace this with a member rewards area so that members get access to a load of the discounts we've got for them that they currently don't know about. You guys get access to this now if you asked us what it were, but there are discount codes for Angling Times, discount codes for Fish Flicks, Carp Academy streaming service, fishery management service, all kinds of discounts we've got in the industry. But at the moment, we've got no way of telling everyone. We can email it to you guys, and we do most months put a new partner in the kind of newsletter, but that relies on you telling all the members. But we can now just tell the members, and there's no charge. We don't get kickback off it. We do it because obviously it just increases our strength in the industry. It promotes your club, and it helps the partners sell their services. But there'll be a member rewards area, so they can click on their benefits and discounts with Clubmate. Trying to think, that's certainly some of the short to medium term stuff. Anyone got a request there that we haven't asked for? So anything that's really important to you as a club, you still think Clubmate doesn't do?
Not really, Rob. Can I just ask you a question about the plus?
Yeah.
I mean, I was never great at maths, but if we got 400 members at 144 a member,
Yeah.
that plus actually would work out cheaper than what we're paying at the moment.
Correct, though. You were one of those people I don't like very much because you actually get a cheaper life. But for you guys, obviously, there's a question to be asked because it would put some restrictions on you. You could move to plus and save on your annual fee.
Yeah.
You would be limited to 10 staff users. I don't know how many you've got. That includes bailiffs.
Yeah. Probably not. Probably more than that. Yeah.
Now, there is a decision to be made, obviously, on just restricting the amount of staff users. Because a lot of people, because previously on Legacy, you could have unlimited, you didn't think about them. Most of your staff users don't do anything in the app.
No.
You know, if you put all of your committee members on who aren't active bailiffs, why are they staff users? So for some people, they'll just think, well, I'll shave it down to 10. I'll just shave it down to active 10.
Well, don't even go down the road of bailiffs because we can't get any. But
but there are kind of obviously, you know, there are people who in your position you would pay slightly less to go down to plus, and
with plus
you wouldn't really lose anything.
Yeah, it doesn't seem fair, really, does it?
But there are obviously, you know, you can't, you know, we can't charge everyone more. There's going to be spots where people pay a little bit less than they paid previously, but it evens out over everyone. Honestly. There are winners and losers in this. You know, there are some that will have to pay a little bit more, some will have to pay a little bit less. As a business driver, our kind of business driver for this is that we want people who are in your position to pay that. You know, from our decision, this will give you a perfectly good and reasonable club, but we want you to buy that because the features are so good. Now, obviously, you're right on the bottom end of that. Like you're right on the lower end of being quite a way away from it, but there are clubs in the kind of 700 category where that's a couple of £100. And we're, you know, our business push on that is to say, well, you know, 200 quid's well worth it to get rid of a load of ID cards, to have membership categories, age restrictions, offline cards, you know, things like that. It's the jump to that. Now you are in your size right on the, you know, there, you know, you're kind of there already. That could be a bit of a stretch for you.
The plus doesn't include offline stuff, does it?
No. You know, the really, and I'm just straight down the line transparency, the really good stuff is going in here because
the big issue for us is that that's probably our biggest issue. We've got so much where you can't get
and the transparency being we're charging you for that. You know, it's fine. A really and as I've said to Mark was on the call a bit earlier today, we used to charge our entry level clubs 144 quid because they paid £1.44 and our minimum was 100 members. We can't onboard a club for 144 quid. We might as well have been doing a charity. You know, it costs us more time in wages to build a club than 144 quid. And like I said, you know, like I said when I went through the pricing, since May, every club that joins Clubmate can only join on these prices. They can't access your pricing, you know, your per member price.
Yeah. I mean, my argument to the committee is that there's no point in having membership details in all this if we can't check it, which for a lot of the time we can't.
Yeah. But as I've said, this isn't really an applicable club package. Normal club starts here. So if you think every club I demonstrate to now, whether they're 100 members or 1,000, that's where they start. And as I said to Mark, I've not had a single club blink at the difference. You know, from last year, they'd have paid us 144 quid. Their entry point is now that. and they are absolutely fine with it. And as I said, I pay for Google services at my club that cost my club 600 quid a year. So it's more than, and if you think that Clubmate has communication tools, member tools, day ticket tools, bailiff tools, reporting tools, all these things, you couldn't possibly piece that software together for that much money.
I mean,
so obviously
the change from Must and Plus to Advance is 1.5 memberships. It's not like it's massive, is it? So,
yeah, and obviously it means different things to different people. You're a game club that's in the hundreds of membership. Your membership is 3 figures, hundreds. There are course clubs that pay, 150 member course club at £20 a year probably isn't going to make a £550 change.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I feel like at some point we did ourselves a disservice by making these exactly double.
Yep.
Because it sounds like 100% more, which technically it is, but as an annual fee, it's not. You shouldn't be thinking of it as 100% more. You should think of it as £1,000 a year instead of 500 for a lot more functionality.
Yeah.
If you catch my drift, I know I can't take away from the fact that it is 100% more. But we've done ourselves a disservice by making that so, I think, to an extent, because it's actually just more expensive functionality. And this is a very normal model. If you were to pick any kind of online service now and go to their website, you will see this exact page. You will see a plus and an advanced and a premium and enterprise level, enterprise level features. What kind of size are we in the room? Because I know most of you are kind of size categories, but does anyone want to talk about what their size is and if there's a lot of value in moving? Jill, I know that you're probably the biggest.
We've already moved, haven't we?
Yeah, you've already moved. You're just here because bloody Coronation Street's finished, I think. But, Andrew, we've just spoken about yours. You're about 400, but your membership price means that this isn't the greatest decision you'll ever have.
Yeah. It makes sense to move to the advanced, but we'll just have to put that.
I would thoroughly, there are clubs, and again, I said this to Mark earlier, there are small clubs, I would thoroughly say to them, stay on legacy. The legacy is enough for your club. You're not big enough to warrant the features. You don't have 50 bailiffs. You don't have, and Clubmate does, and you probably aren't using Clubmate now. You're probably not using legacy to its full extent.
No.
So there are clubs, and I've done it. I do it every week now. Stay on legacy. I don't recommend that you even think about moving because you're not in a spot that I think you should. For anyone that's remotely close, for anyone that's in this week, anywhere from 300 up, I would pay for that and forget about anything ever happening, because every single feature is going to go in that package, and that one, obviously, that's a purely size-based one. But if you pay for these, you will get every single feature that we ever release. So if it's anywhere near the sweet spot, if it's 200 extra, 300 extra, I would pay it, because I think the functionality will be worth it. And in the long term, I think you'll reduce your costs in ID cards, in day ticket charges, in everything else. Anyone else want to have a go at how many members they've got and if they're considering the move?
I think, as we discussed earlier, we're on the small side, only 232 now. So at that bottom end.
Yeah, and also as you said, Mark, like it's not like a true club as such. There's no water, there's no kind of enforcement involved. It's a club that essentially hires other water.
It's membership management and match bookings, and that's about it, really. And no other
thoroughly recommend. And what we're not going to do, and the reason to have this is so that people come to a call, hear about the features. We're not just going to ring you up and try and hammer you into changing a package. We want you to see the features, want to upgrade, and come and ask questions if you want to. But there are some fantastic features coming that are well useful. Some of them alone. The ID card one. Take Jill for example again. Digital offline ID cards would make this a no-brainer. We're nearly paying you. If you decide to move from, and obviously there's a big conversation with Fisher's Green, Jill. Fisher's Green, who haven't accepted Clubmate as a proof of ID, when it literally is a physical digital offline membership card. That conversation is very different. At some point you've got to say, well, how is this not an ID? How is this not an ID kind of thing? So,
yeah, it's just annoying because they issue their own card, but they want our member card so that they can access the photo.
Sometimes I think they want it just so they can tear them up, Jill, to be honest. Some of them just like kind of bailiffing, I think. Has anyone got any other questions though? Has anyone got any questions about either their size or new features or reasons why we've done it, or have any opinions on the new packages? Because we're always open to the feedback.
Hi, Rob.
Go on, Mark.
Hi, Rob. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I've got you, Mark.
Hi. Dorking, along with Dorking Districts, along with Gary and Phil on board with this meeting. Thank you for running this tonight. Very good. From our side, we've got just shy of 700 members currently, and it's costing us, give or take, £990 a year currently. So to upgrade, it will cost us an extra 330 quid a year, including the VAT, which still works out at less than £2 per member per year. Which
So you angling trust members or not?
Yeah.
So the 11 and VAT is also, you still get the 20% discount.
Oh, do I? Oh, well,
yeah. So it's not that much.
Right.
I was going to say
Really
you might as well just pay us now. you're that perfect sweet spot. You're in that perfect spot where it's going to cost you probably 100 quid a year.
Yeah.
For the savings involved, and probably not. Do you do day tickets?
No.
I was going to say for a club like your size that charges day tickets that we're then charging you 75p a ticket for, it'd be cheaper. But even for you, it's going to be about 100 quid a year change, because you still get, and I probably should have mentioned that, you still get your 20% angling trust discount. So whereas before that was a per member, so £1.80 went down to £1.44.
Right.
It's a 20% discount on the whole package. So it's 1,100 plus VAT minus 20% angling trust discount.
Yeah.
And we've expanded the list of partners that get that discount as well. So Angling Trust members, Angling Cymru, obviously in Wales, Ulster Angling Federation in Ireland, anyone associated or leasing from Canal and River Trust, and anyone who's got a committee member on the Institute of Fishery Management. So basically, we really don't want that 20%. I think we keep trying to give that 20% away.
Yeah.
But no, you still get your 20% discount. So it's not even that for you. It's minimal. It's 10p a member or something.
No, the main driver actually in this was the digital membership cards, because we do have historically quite a lot of people deciding that the river mole in Dorking is free water to fish, so they rock up. So getting this once and for all sorted with, they've got it on their phones. That's the end of it.
Of course, even the physical stuff can be recreated. The digital one can't, because it will only show as an offline part of the Clubmate app.
Yeah.
You can't recreate this ID card because it's got your profile picture, it's got unique identifying membership number on it. It will appear as a shield. If you think of it as like an oblong shield, much like you guys are appearing on the screen right now, with a little profile picture, membership valid, membership number, all the rest of it. So you'll get a little shield of offline membership. It is the number one driver, to be fair. We did a poll, and for anyone here that's not in the community, as we call it, if you're in the community, you will know what it is. If you're not in the community, you won't. But we've got a Clubmate site called the Clubmate Community that's full of owners, and there's a WhatsApp group where they all chat with each other, and we've been having a proper Barney this evening, where we get to chat and have a talk about things. We did a poll earlier this year of 4 new features that were most important, and I think they were offline membership card, improved gallery and catch reporting access, locational based check-in so that you could check in by locations, and one other. And we've now done the top 3. So in terms of transparency, it's really good for us to be able to go back to people. And the same will be true of the kind of new platform I spoke about earlier, where you get to upvote the ideas. We can then put on there, this has now been built, this has now been built, this has now been built. So prove that we do listen to the feature requests kind of thing. But Mark, for you guys, no brainer, I would say. Jill, you got your hand up.
Yes. When we first talked about digital cards, you said there might be an option where some members could still have their plastic ones. Is that?
They can still have them. Yeah, they can still have them, Jill. If you get a digital card, it doesn't stop you still having physical ones. So you can still have optional purchase physical cards. At the moment, you're sending yours to everyone, aren't you? You've never done optional.
Yeah, we've never done optional.
So should you go fully digital and everyone's got a digital card, we just offer it as an optional purchase during your membership process. And then the member pays you for it. So as opposed to you buying all them credits, the member pays an extra £5 during their process. You've got to just be you've got to push it as a club and just say, we don't need it, you do, so you pay for it. Because in the past, obviously, old-fashioned world, the club needed you to show something to prove you're a member. With the tools you've now got, you've just got to be strong as a club and say, we don't need that, so we're not paying for it. If you're really in love with that bit of plastic, you pay for it. Because we don't need that. So that's the kind of conversation there. I did forget one, actually, because I've just covered it by accident. Locational based check-ins. this is a bit of a leap for some clubs because a lot of your bailiffs won't be using check-in at all. So does anyone have bailiffs that use the check-in feature in Clubmate?
Well, no, not yet. No.
Yeah, so it's underutilized anyway, but you've all had this check-in. So if you find a member, and I'll just switch to this so you can see it. So when you find a member and you pop their profile up, there's a check-in button here. I bet loads of you didn't use it. You press check-in, and before it would say checked in, and this member would then populate a report so that you could track how many members have been checked in and out throughout the whole year. Now, this new feature is not much benefit because none of you knew it was there anyway, but you can now do location-based check-ins. So if you set certain locations in your app, which you can just design, you can have Lake 1, Lake 2, Lake 12, Lake 300, you can check them in to the meeting room, you can press check-in and it will log them in. And then if you go to your reporting and check-in report, it will show you which venues were popular over a certain time period that you run. So I can run whichever venues I like and whichever time period I like, and I can show which venues were the most popular. So it tells me where everyone was checked in by, tells me who's checked themselves in. So you can see when you were popular and where you were popular. If you want to target your bailiff patrols, if you want to put more effort into marketing your kind of core venues, which again is a step above for clubs really clubs don't do this very well. If you've got reports that tell you Lake 12 is really quiet, sell it more. We need to adjust our social media because no one's fishing Lake 12 and we're wasting all the lease money. The report tells us no one's fished it for 6 months. Advertise it more. So these are the kind of next level features that we can have to kind of help clubs with a leg up into the future kind of thing.
Why is that not working on my app at the moment?
I'm going to say it's your fault. I don't know, Jill.
Very much. When I click on check-in, it just says goodbye, whoever it is.
You probably haven't set up locations, Jill.
I've put all my locations in.
So let me have a look for you, Jill. I can certainly have a look. Let me just move away from Jill's club so we don't start showing off her member data, and I'll have a look. Put my money where my mouth is here. You can watch me live, find out if it's my fault or Jill's fault.
That's probably mine.
Let me see. I'm just going to have a look. Correcto, Jill. Let me have a look. Let me see. Got your locations in. Asheldon. Asheldon. Is that how you pronounce it, Jill? Asheldon?
Asheldon.
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 We'll go for Asheldon. I like that one. Mark.
Rob, I'm going to sign off if I can, because I think you've covered everything I need to know. So
yeah, no, not a problem at all. I've pretty much covered everything we're going to cover tonight, guys. I'm happy to answer individual questions, but if anyone wants to kind of ask any questions, please raise your hand. I'm happy to answer them while I'm looking around Jill's side.
Thank you very much. Very informative.
No, thanks, Mark. Thanks for joining us. It's nice to see you as well.
Yeah, cheerio, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Gary?
Rob, if we, so from a Dorking perspective, obviously the advanced, as you've already said, probably is a bit of a no-brainer for us, and the subjects committee approval, I would have thought that's what we would go for. We're also using Stripe at the moment, and we've considered moving over to the new payment platform.
Just moved.
Yeah, so presumably if we took the advanced package, you would move us across onto it. Would that be a good time to go onto the new payment platform as well?
To be honest, there isn't honestly a bad time to move the platform. There's no downtime to move into Clubmate Pay.
Right.
It takes about, if you've got the right information, it takes about 30 seconds to integrate Clubmate Pay. During those 30 seconds, your payments will still go through Stripe, and at the end of those 30 seconds, they'll go through Clubmate Pay. There is no bad time.
Okay.
It's a very simple and straightforward process, and that even the small saving that gives you on your number of members will probably pay for your advanced upgrade, because it's cheaper by 0.2% per transaction.
Yeah, I mean, our move wouldn't really be geared around the financials. I mean, the
No, it's not.
financials.
Yeah, yours
yours
isn't.
there,
Yeah, yours isn't really much of a financial move, is it? Because there's very little either one way or the other.
One way or the other, correct. I mean, it would really be just so that we're just dealing with Clubmate rather than Stripe as well. And
Jill's gonna be the kind of devil on my shoulder tonight. Jill, how have you got on with Clubmate Pay? I'll let you be honest, and I'll cover my ears.
No, very good. It's been great, and you get your money earlier as well.
Yeah, it's fast. It pays out a lot faster than Stripe does. I think less than half. I think average Stripe are obviously very much dependent on how well they know you. So depending on how long you've been a customer, they'll pay you from average 7 to 14 days after the member pays us. Stripe pays you. Clubmate Pay, regardless, because we already know you, is 3 days. So 3 days from when the member pays, all your payouts are in.
yeah.
And the fact that you can just do it all in the app is mind changing. And from a support point of view, it's so, because we've spent years now having to say, can you go look in your Stripe account and give us some information? Most people don't ever log into that Stripe account. You know, we've got clubs that have never logged into Stripe since the day they started it, because all they know is it gives them money. And if things go wrong, we have to say, well, I can't see your Stripe account. Can you go look at it? But now, because we can see all of the kind of reporting in the app, we can see every transaction, we can see it all. And obviously, like you say, it just puts everything in one place for you.
Yeah, it puts everything in one place, yeah, as you say, and that, I think that's the that's the benefit that we see from that. I mean, I do log into the Stripe account occasionally. We print some transactional reports off of there for audit purposes, but yeah.
Again, it's mostly been like smaller clubs that have no real use for moving from Clubmate Pay to from Stripe to Clubmate Pay, because the price is negligible. In a case of volunteer clubs, the price is not that important. It's not their money. And so 0.2%, you know, of everyone else's money, like, you know, and obviously it works, and they've never ever logged into Stripe since the day they joined us, because they don't do financial reporting. They've got 100 members. They just let money come in the bank, and as long as it keeps paying, kind of, so what, if you catch my drift.
The reports are good.
Yeah, the reports for club. Obviously, we made a few improvements based on your feedback, Jill. To be fair, there were a few things for a start that probably could have done with a bit of a spit and polish. But now you can run filtered periods. You can run filtered different dates and times, and you know, payouts on different days and all those kind of things. We're still looking at a few improvements to Clubmate Pay, but in terms of reliability, it's been brilliant. You know, we were nervous for a start. It's a very big leap to try and compete with Stripe. But we've got about 50% of all the clients on Clubmate Pay now, and the development team, by the way, that deal with all the issues, the programmers, they are begging us to move people. You know, they're just saying, please move everyone. It's so much easier, because obviously Stripe being this Californian behemoth, if something goes wrong, they don't talk to us either. You know, they won't answer us for a fortnight. Whereas Clubmate Pay, we can fix it today. You know, we just, you know, if there's ever a bug with someone's card, usually it's someone's card's caused an issue or something, we just go, yeah, it's sorted. Jill, I'm still hopping around because I got distracted, but I'm trying to figure out at the moment if I'm missing something on your check-ins, to be fair, because it's still just saying goodbye. I'm trying to remember if I actually had a setting I was supposed to switch on, to be honest, but I'll figure it out for you, Jill, don't worry.
Yeah, do you want to talk another time?
Yeah, I'll figure it out for you, Jill. I'll make a note and I'll get it sorted tomorrow. There's something I'm missing. I think it's late. I've been working all day. Has anyone got any other questions they'd like to ask? I think that pretty much covers it. Like I say, loads of new features coming. There's going to be some great stuff that I think, especially in positions like you're in at Dorking, no brainer for the sake of 100 quid. If you want to get moved over, just drop us an email, drop us a line. We can change you over. You don't have to wait till the end of your billing period. We'll tend to, if it's very close, we'll give you 50p. But if you're miles away, we'll just pro rata the kind of change for the year. So just let us know. And on that note, I'll say goodbye. 2 weeks time, we're doing a webinar talking to Embryo. A lot of the angling clubs may not be interested, but Embryo, we manage 25 syndicate lakes for. So if anyone's interested in that, it's going to be a really interesting one of how we manage 25 separate sites. And And then a couple of weeks after that, I'm speaking at the Institute of Fishery Management annual conference on the benefits of digital technology in fishery management, which is going to be filmed. Someone's coming to film me. I'm nervous as hell. And then we're going to send it out to all you guys to see the kind of send the talk. So loads of new content coming. One more I'm going to try and sell hard. Everyone seen the Angling Times feature yet? So we've now got a monthly 2 pages in the Angling Times. Those 2 pages are dedicated to an angling club that, well, you know, a Clubmate angling club. We've got a column on the side where I'm going to talk about industry issues, you know, juniors and predation, all these kind of thing. But the 2 pages is for an angling club to shout about itself, and you can have it for free. It's very expensive 2 pages. You know, you don't get 2 pages in the middle of Angling Times for nothing, but we want to shout about our customers. Angling Times want some content, and we think it's a great thing to do. So if your club's got stuff to shout about, you do great things, you've got good projects, you know, you're really happy with what you do, drop us a message. You can have a free 2-page feature. The Angling Times will come to your venue. They will do an interview, take pictures, all these kind of things. So if anyone wants a free 2-page feature in the Angling Times, just let me know. So have a think about it. And on that note, we'll say good night.
Thanks very much, Rob.
Cheers.
I will see you all soon. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Bill.
Bye, everybody.